Welcome back to the shop. I'm Jeff from Today's Craftsman, and we've been getting a lot of comments on our videos about the fact that this table saw does not have an Outfeed table, and you guys finally got to me, so we built one, and we're going to tell you about it after this word from our sponsor. Promotional support for this episode is provided by Enduro by General Finishes. Enduro is our choice for professional wood coatings. Proudly manufactured in the USA, Enduro provides a strong, consistent, and predictable finish. From whites to colors to custom match stains, you can find it all under the Enduro system. For more information, visit generalfinishes.com. Welcome back. I'll tell you a little bit about the saw first. So if you've been with the channel for a while, you may remember we used to have two table saws, and they were catty-cornered right here. So we had the saw stop here and a Delta Unisaw over there. And the Unisaw was sort of our dedicated dado saw, or sometimes it was set up as like a ripping saw. When we got the Strebig, so we have a 5x10 Strebig compact over there, we decided that we didn't need two table saws anymore and we could really use the space. So we freed things up by getting rid of the Unisaw. But we kept the saw stop. This is a saw stop 3 horsepower ICS. So this is a 220 volt single phase version. We do have 3-phase here in the shop, but we've had this since the old shop. So that was a single phase only shop. The industrial saw, super heavy duty. I've used the professional series and I have zero regrets spending the little bit of extra money for this saw. A much beefier saw, very well built, has a Biesmeyer style fence, and we have the sliding crosscut on ours. This is the smaller of the two sliding crosscuts. So this is where we're doing the majority of our hardwood crosscuts, would be at the saw here. The miter saw is a bit of a more rough tool in this shop. So one of the things when we got rid of the Delta, we lost all of that outfeed. So we had basically like an 8-foot by 8-foot table with a table saw in each corner, or not each corner, but catty corner to one another. So we were without a outfeed, and it's kind of tight over here. This is where we shoot all of the videos. So John is usually standing over in this area, and I'll be over at the bench there. So we didn't want something permanent, and you know, it's good to have flexibility in your shop. So a lot of people have stuff on wheels. We have some things on wheels, but you know, you need to be flexible and be able to move things around. So we decided to make something that folded up. So I can come over here and show you how this works. So this is just a 1/4-inch melamine top. We have some hinges and some legs, and we'll put plans out for this. You may need to tweak a couple things for your table saw, but so we have a leg that folds up this way, and we have a leg that folds up this way, and then this just drops down. So we've got a couple butt hinges here. These are old Stanley solid brass butt hinges that were in a toolbox that I bought. Marked $1.99, so you know that they're old and they're actually really nice. We have a piece of wood here. It's like about 2x2, and that's just bolted to this angle iron that's on the table saw. So you may not have this angle iron exactly, but typically there's some holes. So you'll have a point where you can fasten this block, have hinges onto a torsion box. So John will get under there and show you what the bottom side of that looks like. And we have a leg with a stop here. We have little adjustable feet because the floor is very out of level. And same thing here, just a rotating leg with a stop. So today I was ripping some 10-quarter maple, 12 feet long, and this really helped. So without this, there's no way. You know, you have, say, a foot past the end of your blade. So anything, you know, with a significant length, or if it's heavy, you're gonna have to hold it down really hard or sort of let it fall. The way I like to think about this is from the center of the blade to the end of the table, we have 36 inches. So anything less than 6 feet will be fully supported. You'll have more than half of the piece still on the saw. I have a couple different length boards here, so we can show you how this setup works with something a little bit shorter and something longer. And if I had to cut one piece, I would probably just keep with this setup, but if I was cutting a lot of long pieces, we'll do what I'm about to show you. So I can get this out of the way. And we'll just rip these in half. And I could show you what I would do for a longer board. So I'm gonna actually set up a roller stand down on this end. And again, if I was cutting one board, I could make this work the way it is. You could see that, there's pretty good support, but I would take a roller stand and get it set up out here. And I can make my rip. So there's the setup. It's pretty simple and it's super versatile. So you can see even in an industrial shop or in your home shop, say you're in a garage and you had a very tight space here with a garage door, you could set up your roller stand out in the driveway and have a folding outfeed table. Again, we'll have plans for this on the website and you may have to adapt them to your own table saw, but it's a good place to start. We're glad you came to watch. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next week. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. And we'll see you next week again. If you're still here, hope you'll hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and if you want to see more day-to-day content, check us out on Instagram at Today's Craftsman.